everybody. Good to see you from all over the place. My goodness. It's a real gift to us if you keep your cameras on. It's a gift to me anyways, because I know so many of you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Themes. I'm the co-founder of Sophia Financial Group, a full-service advisory firm here in Vancouver, BC. We are devoted to the principles of equality and inclusion, and as you'll see from today, having people that feel mentally and physically and financially well, because we know that we are all big systems and we're complicated, and you can't separate out money from who you are, and you can't separate out what your job is from how your body is, that we are very complex systems. So we are very pleased today to introduce Dr. Susan Gamache, our esteemed guest and workshop facilitator. Dr. Gamache has been a Sophia resource since we opened our doors here.
Right.
She
I forgot that. That's true.
I know. She's a registered psychologist and marriage and family therapist with more than 3 decades of experience helping individuals, couples, and families build resilience through life's most difficult transitions. She holds graduate degrees in counseling psych at both Simon Fraser and UBC. She also taught in the Department of Counseling Psych. Her clinical and research focus has been on marital transitions, including separation, divorce, remarriage, step-family life, areas where she has not only published widely, but also developed innovative therapeutic programs that are used in high-conflict parenting cases. As a founding leader in the collaborative divorce movement, she's trained and inspired professionals across North America and Europe. She's a frequent presenter in the media and has received multiple awards for her contributions to research, advocacy, and professional education. Dr. Gamache is trained in the emotional freedom technique, which is what we're going to be looking at today, a powerful evidence-based tool for self-calming and stress regulation. She integrates EFT into her workshops, giving participants both psychological insight and practical strategies that they can immediately apply in their personal and professional lives. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Susan Gamache. Welcome, yay, cheers, yay, cheers.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be sharing about EFT with people. I think it is an extraordinary tool, and I'm very happy to be presenting about that. So I am a psychologist and marriage and couple and family therapist, and yet today I am just a presenter, even though this is sort of a therapeutic type intervention. It's also a tool that you can use independently from any therapeutic relationship. So today I'm just a presenter showing you this wonderful tool. So please remember to take full responsibility for your health. This is not a substitute for medical or professional help. I'm here only as a presenter, and this presentation is just the tip, not the tip of a mountain, but a tip of a mountain range of things that you can do with EFT or benefit from with EFT. So I was first introduced to this a long time ago, end of my doctoral program, when I thought I was going to lose my mind. After 12 years of being a grad student, I thought I was going to snap and just turn into a pile of steaming, never mind what. But, and somebody that I hardly knew handed me a piece of paper and said, you should do this. So I did. I took it home and I did what it said. And all of a sudden my brain would refocus and I could get back to doing what I was supposed to be doing instead of just completely freaking out. And so I would do it like 15, 20 times a day just to keep myself grounded and centered. And I didn't even know how it worked. I didn't care how it worked. I just needed some relief from feeling like I was going to break. And so I did that, used it for my own purposes for a long time. I attended a summit way back in the early 2000s, and they had 40,000 people join the summit on EFT, and it broke their servers because they didn't expect 40,000 people. so then I just kind of went on my way and did collaborative law and different things. And then it came back into my mind to, I forget exactly why. And I realized that in the time that I hadn't been paying attention, there was now a global community for EFT. There were over 200 peer-reviewed journals that showed dramatic improvement, and you're going to receive 2 pages from Erin, and one of them is going to be, it's going to look like this, and it's got showing some of the major findings that have happened that have just, like how many things can improve autoimmune markers by 113%. I mean, they're dramatic improvements, reduce cortisol by 40%. So it's a deceptively simple little technique, and at the same time, the impact is amazing. Um, so, um, So when I tuned back in with them, all of a sudden there was this massive community. There are hundreds of YouTube videos showing you how to do EFT, how to do EFT for anxiety, for grief, for pain, for loneliness, for anything you can think of. And at their last summit, they had 400,000 people from around the world to listen to speakers talking about EFT and related kinds of techniques for wellness and calming the nervous system. So in the time I wasn't paying attention, it became a global phenomena. There is now an app. It's called the Tapping Solution. And it has, I don't know, 100, 200,000 people using it daily. So it started out being developed by a guy named Roger Callahan in the 70s. And then it was simplified. He called it the emotional freedom technique. And then it was simplified in the 80s and 90s. And then there was a core of it that was labeled clinical EFT, and that's went into all the research studies. So that's what I'm going to teach you today. It's very quick and it's easy, and it's the same set as all of those, the page with all the arrows. They're using exactly the same thing. So if you happen to have a paper and pencil or something that you can write on to write down a sentence or two and a number or two, that would be helpful. Or if you can remember them, that's fine too. But I want to just run you through it to just give you an experience of it. So the first thing you need to do is locate something that feels a bit stressful, or just consider your stress level generally. And, or if you have a place in your body that is a bit achy, like shoulders or neck or back or something, to just kind of focus on that for a minute and rate it. Give it a number out of 10, where 10 out of 10 would be the most extreme you've ever felt that, and 1 would be meh, not such a big deal. So so if you can just identify that and rate it out of 10. And it's helpful to be able to remember it. So if you think you might not remember it, you're welcome to kind of make yourself a little note somewhere. Okay, so now I'm going to run you through. It's simply 8 acupuncture points. We're going to tap on 8 acupuncture points. And you should also have this page that was sent out to you that shows you where these acupuncture points are for future reference. But I'm going to walk you through it now. And then you'll have this and also the thousands of YouTube videos that are online. So you don't ever have to worry about not knowing where the points are. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is hold that notion in your mind. I will do just sort of general stress because there's a few people here. So tapping on the side of your hand here, we used to call this karate chop point, but that became politically incorrect. So now it's called the side of hand. So you're going to tap here and we're going to do an affirmation 3 times. And so I want you to repeat after me. Even though I have this stress, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this stress, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And even though I have this stress, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, so now we're going to tap on some points. The first one, it's a bit tricky with glasses sometimes. The first one is right where your eyebrow starts. And you can do it one side, both sides, the other side. It doesn't matter. This stress, just saying out loud, this stress. The next point is right on the side of your eye right here. Same thing, this stress, this stress. One side, both sides, the other side, it doesn't matter. The next point is right under your pupil on the high side of your cheekbone. Same thing, this stress, this stress. The next one is just under your nose on your upper lip, sort of halfway between your nose and your upper lip. This stress, this stress. The next one's on your chin crease, this stress. Take some nice breaths while you're doing it too, just generous breaths. This stress. The next one is just off your collarbone. So you're going to find the notch in the middle. There's a bump on either side. And then you drop down into a little pocket just under your collarbone right there. So you can tap on both sides. You can tap with one hand on both sides, or you can tap on just one side. It's up to you. Some people suggest that it's good to put all 10 fingers into that pocket where you're tapping. And you can do it through your shirt or your sweater. It doesn't have to be on your skin. And then the next one is under your arm. It's about 3 inches below your armpit, or for women where the bra goes around the rib cage. Just want to tap right there. And again, you can do either side. It doesn't matter. And then the last one, it kind of a little bit can feel a little funny, is on the top of your head. This stress. This stress. Okay, and then take a nice breath. And just tune in for a minute and just see where that first experience that you made a note of, where would you rate it now? And if you wouldn't mind putting into the chat where you started and where you are now. It doesn't matter what happened really. It doesn't matter if it stays the same or goes down. But for most people, it's going to come down a little bit. And if you can also notice how your body feels, like how your shoulder feels, how your back feels. Often there's kind of a calming effect that happens even if you're not particularly thinking about your shoulders or your back. So we've got, I'm going to open it, see if I can look at this. Nope. Oh, from a 6 to a 3, 6, 5 to a 4, an 8 to a 3, an 8 to a 5, 8 to a 6, 6 to a 3, 7 to a 4. I think you get the drift. And that's just one time through for basically about 4 minutes. So while we still have time today, I want to make sure we have time to do another one on something that's maybe a bit more specific for you, given that that one was so general. So the way that this works is that when we tap on these acupressure points, they're based in Chinese medical theory. It's been around for 5,000 years. It's pretty well established, even though it's not Western. And these points then calm the amygdala. So when we're feeling agitated, it's our amygdala, this little almond-shaped thing at the back of our brain, in our primitive brain, that fires and says, look out. And as soon as it does that, even if the lookout is a meeting that we're going to have 3 hours from now, our amygdala still fires and our body responds, because when it fires, it dumps a whole bunch of adrenaline into our bloodstream. And all of a sudden, the neurophysiology of our system is rerouted into the fight or flight reflex. So blood comes out of our prefrontal cortex up here and goes into our large muscle groups and our heart to allow us to do the fight or flight reflex. Sometimes that's not very helpful in regular society. And one of the negative consequences of that is when we lose blood from here, we don't think as well as we usually do. So if we're feeling overwhelmed and we've lost blood from here, we're going to feel more overwhelmed because we can't solve the problem that we want to solve as well as if we weren't in fight or flight. So the more you can calm down your nervous system, the better problem solver you are, the more creative you can be, the less reactive, obviously, that you can be. So there's now been studies on EFT that use functional MRIs to show us how the brain is calming, that use saliva testing to show us how the autoimmune system is changing. And also, they've shown that when a person is doing like a EFT intervention, that they found up to 70 genes that express differently as a function of that intervention. So it's quite amazing, and it's really just a few, not that far into its development. So it holds a tremendous promise for all kinds of things that we can't even imagine at the moment. So in terms of being a tool for kind of resetting your own system, I have not found anything like it. And because you can do it yourself at any time, you can do it before you go to bed if you're having a hard time sleeping. You can do it in the middle of the night if you wake up and you're having a hard time getting back to sleep. I often find that if that happens to me, rather than tapping, I'll just hold these points, because I don't like tapping on my face in the night. But I can just put my fingers on these points and just hold them. I've done it in restaurants. Nobody cares. You go like this and people think you have a headache. Same with this. You can do both sides of your face with, well, I have a small head, but anyway, most people can do both sides of their face at the same time. These can be done at the same time. This. Nobody cares. And there have not been any side effects found at all. The one caution is because it does kind of move things around in your system, that you give yourself literally 3 to 5 minutes before you start driving or heading into a heavy meeting or a heavy phone call. You want to just give your system a chance to settle and to reset in your new, better organized place before you go forward. So this would be a good time for questions.
Is that sentence that you gave us, is that the only sentence to use?
No, that's what we're going to go into next.
Okay.
That I want people to think about something that's more personal to them.
Okay.
So are there any questions at this point, Erin?
Nothing at this point in the chat.
And then my other question is, like, can I do this like 25 times a day? Does it lose power the more I do it?
I
or
did it
do I
25
have
times a day.
Okay.
I was
During
a
times
ping
of big
pong ball
stress?
between UBC and the college, and they were both changing their procedures, and I got caught in the middle, as well as having a 5-year-old that just came out of daycare and a husband that went into the hospital, and it just and I thought I was just going to break. So I would do it like 25 times a day. I could sleep usually till about 4 o'clock in the morning, and so I'd do it at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So you can do it as many times as you want.
It doesn't lose its power.
No.
Okay.
In fact, I would say that it gains in power, because the more your system gets used to it and it knows what you want, it will give it to you. So I find that it doesn't take me nearly as long. If there's something that's bugging me and I want to release that, it doesn't take me nearly as long as it used to.
So why isn't everybody just doing this instead of drugs or tequila?
Well, it doesn't make very much money. It's based on medical theory, but I can tell you that it has been that the main training organization in the United States is called EFT Universe, and they have been accredited by the AMA, the Nurses Association, Social Workers Association. There is a Veterans Association in the United States that has endorsed it because it's so effective for PTSD. And the College of Psychologists, or APA rather, has endorsed the training, but they're like a hair away from endorsing it as an evidence-based treatment because it's based on Chinese medical theory as well as cognitive behavior and exposure therapy. Like when you're going into that experience and highlighting it for yourself, it's like you're exposing yourself to that idea or that distress. So then when you're tapping, you're holding that exposure and then releasing it with the points at the same time. And when you're doing that statement at the beginning of, even though I have this stress, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, you're putting two ideas together that would ordinarily not be together. So when you do that, you create a different kind of cognitive landscape for yourself, nervous landscape. And then when you use the release points of acupressure on that landscape, it has a very powerful release function.
So can it be targeted that, like, even though I'm furious with the political system of today, I still love, and like, can you target things that are triggering you or
Anything that triggers you.
Okay.
My kids are driving me crazy. I'm so terrified for the climate. I don't know what's going to happen to the world. My mom just died and I'm so sad. I'm afraid I'm not going to make enough money. So if you go online, you can Google. Oh, one thing distinction I want to make is that the letters EFT have a competing group. And that competing group is emotionally focused therapy. So the tapping people said, okay, we'll call it EFT tapping. And that will discriminate it between the therapy group. So when you go online to look for anything, make sure you say EFT tapping. Otherwise, you're going to get family therapy information. But the EFT tapping, if you Google that, say EFT tapping for sadness, EFT tapping for fear about money, EFT tapping for anxiety, EFT tapping for depression, EFT tapping for PTSD, you're going to get lots of people who have posted videos that will walk you through, just like we did right now, but on specific topics. And if you want to look at the app, it is also a tremendous support for whatever it is that might be happening for your nervous system. Okay, so I'd like to go on do a second round, but to make it more personal for you. And I'm going to just say something general, but I would like you to try and say something that's more specific for yourself. So I'm just going to give you a minute to identify something that's kind of up and running for you right now that you can use as a target for the next round. Okay, so I'll just give you a couple minutes. So you want to identify something that is up and running for you and then rate it out of 10, where 10 is the worst it's ever been and 1 is, I can just skip over that and go to lunch. Okay. So does anybody need more time? I can't see there's a lot of people I can't see, so I don't know if you're waving your hand or not. But maybe you could put in the chat if you need more time. And I can't see that, Erin, but I guess you can. Oh, no, I can see it here, I think. Okay, so maybe I will just leave it blank rather than say anything. So starting on the side of your hand, even though I have, you fill in what's important for you, but it's good to say it out loud because you want it to resonate in your system. You want to make it alive in your nervous system. So even though I have this issue and it impacts me in this and this and this way, and it's been going on forever, like you can really take your time and tell your story. It doesn't need to be just one word. It can be, you know, my mom passed away last week and I'm just so sad. I just can't seem to think about anything else. She was my best friend. I can't believe she's gone. Like you can describe it, what's happening for you pretty thoroughly. Even though there's all of that, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. So even though I am feeling this in this situation, and again, I'd encourage you to say it out loud. We can't hear you. I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And even though I have this fear, this stress, this grief, this confusion, overwhelm because of anything that could have happened or is happening, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Or another tag you could use, right here, right now, I'm okay. Even though there's all of this, right here, right now, I am okay. So what you want to do is contrast the two, the disturbing part and the okay part. Okay, so then we're going to start here, just tapping on the corner of your eyebrow. This grief, this sadness, this fear, this worry, whatever it is that I have about my mother passing, about my financial situation, about my kids, about anything at all. Sometimes I use it in kind of a stream of consciousness way so that whatever it is I'm thinking, even if I'm not too clear on it, I just ramble it out while I'm tapping. Then you go to the side of your eye, tap there, and then under your eye, on your cheekbone. And again, it is better if you say it out loud. It'll be a more, it's more embodying when you say it out loud. Chin crease and your collarbone points. Under your arm. On top of your head. And then take a nice breath. Exhale. And do a quick check-in. We're going to do another round, but do a quick check-in and see how you would rate that experience now, in this moment. And if you feel like sharing that in the chat, that would be great. Yawning is good. Feeling great. Feeling sleepy is good. Not being able to remember what it was you were tapping about is fantastic. Okay, so we're going to do another round on that same thing, okay? So if you want to refine your vocabulary a little bit, that's fine. If you want to use exactly the same thing, that's fine too. We'll start here. This sadness, this grief, this anger, this fear, whatever it is that you have that's related to my mom, my finances, my kids, my dog, my work, my vacation, my suitcase, anything at all. And then the side of your eye, right here. And then under your eye, on your cheekbone there. This, and you're going to say it each time you change point, you're going to say it again. This sadness, fear, irritation, outrage, related to the flight I just lost, the money I just lost, the child I just lost, anything at all. Your upper lip. And you want to make sure you're taking some generous breaths as you do this, so you're not holding your breath. We don't want you to hyperventilate, but we want you to keep breathing. Your chin crease. This fear, this grief, this sadness. And your collarbone. I'm so nervous about this presentation on EFT I'm going to do for Tracy's group today. Oh my God, I can't think. Forgot my keys, which is true. And under your arm. Top of your head. Kind of a monkey tap. Okay, take a breath in. So if possible, I'd love to hear from some people on, what's going on. Is this working for you? What does it feel like? Do you have to tap each point every time? I don't think so. It's pretty robust. And at the same time, definitely more relaxed. That's great. I wouldn't want to stray too far, but if you miss one, I think it's fine. And also, if you find that one point just feels really, really, really good, you can stay on that for as long as you want. There's no need to have to go through at a particular pace. But I think doing all of them is probably in your best interest, but I don't think it's an absolute necessity.
I know it
Oh,
seems,
sorry, go ahead.
I know it seems very simple, but I got mixed up. So do we do it 3 times through? Is that the standard kind of process? I know I could do it 10 times, but it's about 3 times going through. And the second time that we did it, we didn't say, even though I'm stressed about my car being in the shop, I know that the divine is guiding this and I love and accept myself. Am I doing the whole sentence every time?
Well, the first time we did it on just a general thing.
Yes.
And then the second time we did it on that specific thing, but I didn't say any words. I left a space. But then you can do the second round on the same topic. So
But
every
you do
time
the
you start
whole
a new-
thing. You say that even though blah, blah, crap is happening, I love and completely accept myself.
That's right.
Those two things are the component every time you tap every place.
Every time you start a new subject, every
Thank
time
you.
you start a new one,
Okay.
because as you do it, stuff's going to come up.
Okay.
So I actually did this with a friend who was in the hospital, having just developed an autoimmune situation where he couldn't operate his feet and his legs anymore. So big life-changing event. And we started doing it for pain because he had back pain. And in the middle of it, he said, I'm just so sad. All I want to do is cry. So stuff is going to come up. So you can switch. So it's like, okay, now I have this sadness. I really experience this sadness. And even though I'm so, so sad, I still deeply and completely accept myself. And then you can do as many rounds as you want. You can do 1 round or 4 or 10. It's really up to you. But each time you change to a different subject or something else comes up, you'd want to start with a new startup statement because your system has moved. And so you want to go with where your system's going because your system knows best. Like it knows where all these subjective pockets of experience are that are associated with whatever you're feeling. So you don't want to challenge that. You want to accept that and go with it. So we have one here. Range of emotions and thoughts were definitely bubbling up throughout. Interesting what is stuck in there. There's all kinds of stuff stuck in there for all of us all the time because our subjective reality, our unconscious reality is so complex. And our nervous system picks up and records everything. Everything is recorded in our nervous system. And so this helps your nervous system release some, but you'll never release all of it because
there's new stuff all the time.
There's new stuff. And that unconscious stuff, you know, it's your childhood, it's your infancy, it's your things you're not really aware of. There's a whole world back there. Yeah, I have not looked at the tapping solution app myself because I'm kind of app averse, given that I'm old enough to have grown up in a house where there was just a phone. And if you weren't home, you didn't answer the phone. And that was it. So, but I am going to because I do believe that it's a phenomenal tool for people who want to use this as part of their health and well-being maintenance. I mean, when I see the results on this page, which you should now have, 40% drop in cortisol, 113% increase in immune system markers, 60% reduction in pain, 40% reduction in anxiety, 35% reduction in depression, 32% in PTSD symptoms, 30% increase in happiness, 8% decrease in blood pressure, 74% decrease in food cravings. I mean, if food is an issue for you and you go to, you know, EFT tapping for food cravings, you're going to find tons of stuff there. The people who started all of this is the Ortner family, Nick Ortner and his sister Jessica. And Jessica took on the food issue. So she's done a whole bunch about food and EFT for cravings. And there are, you know, when they do the functional MRIs, they can see the activity in the brain change around food cravings as people do tapping. So it's a simple little technique, but it connects to all kinds of layers of us that we've never had such easy access to before. The Ortner family lives in Newtown, Connecticut, and that is the location of one of the first and most terrible school shootings, where somebody went into an elementary school and shot a whole bunch of kids and teachers. And so when that happened, they said, oh my God, we have to set up a foundation and we have to train people to go out and train people to help their communities. And so they started the EFT Foundation, and they have people supporting them like Louise Hay and what's his name, Dwyer?
Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer, thanks.
Mhm.
Tony Robbins, some of the really big name people in the self-help movement, they love this. And so they have thrown money and energy into developing that foundation, and they go around the world. They go to war-torn places. They're now doing all kinds of stuff online because it can get to people so quickly. So
So
it's
the
really
first
cool.
So the first part is the identification of the stressor, and the second part can the second part also be like an affirmation, like, even though I'm really anxious about seeing my financial advisor, I trust that everything's working out perfectly well. Like,
Yes,
so you do the affirmation, so it doesn't just have to be I love and accept myself, even though I'm worried about how I make financial decisions. I am confident in my ability to see my way through this.
yes,
It's as long as you do a counterbalancing affirmation of some kind that's calming for you, or I know that, like, I will be taken care of, or that I have the ability to keep calm in a situation. So as
and
long as it's a something, but it probably has to be something that you believe, right? You can't be bullshitting yourself.
you cannot be bullshitting
I'm
yourself
worried
because
about buddy, but I know I'm going to be rich, and then you just start the
your nervous
argument.
system's going to say, meh.
Liar.
But also, when you're tapping, you will notice that how you feel about something starts to change. It starts to shift. And so I notice that I can tell when my system has shifted so that I've got more blood in my brain, because all of a sudden I can think of a creative question. When before I couldn't think of a creative question because I was just too stressed or irritated or pissed off or whatever I was. So it's like I can feel that moment when the blood comes back, because all of a sudden my awareness expands again. It comes out of this tight, smaller place and expands back into the flow that includes reflection, creative thinking, all that kind of stuff. So once you've got your system back into flow, you can do what Tracy was just saying, but you can do it on the whole thing. Like, I can see now that my brother is just struggling in his life, and so it's not really about me. And I deeply and completely accept myself. So I can see that he's struggling and that it's not really about me. And, so you can take whatever forward movement on that topic you experience and tap that in as well, which I think is pretty cool.
Out of curiosity, what's the longest session you've ever done for yourself? Because if you keep iterating, like, I could see it going on for 10, 15, 20 minutes until the issue at the end is quite different than
Yeah,
the one that you start with.
yeah. I would say I probably haven't done it for more than between 5 and 10 minutes,
Okay. Okay.
but you certainly could. But I think I probably do it for shorter periods of time, but more frequently. Like if it's a big thing, like this place that I was caught, with everything being so hard, I would do it until my system settled, which usually took about not more than 5 minutes. But then later in the day, I'd get another phone call. Wah! And so then I would do it again to bring myself back down and get my brain back so I could study. I mean, things were so intense. One time I studied for 24 hours in a row with no caffeine. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
as you get used to listening to what happens in your body when you do this, you'll have some sense of what's a good idea for you. And if you have any questions, there's so much online. It is stunning. Like, I just couldn't believe what had happened in the 20 years where I hadn't paid attention. All of a sudden. So that leads me to my last thing that I want to say is that I decided that I wanted to do the certification training in EFT. So it's a year-long program, and you learn all kinds of amazing things about, like, did you know that in your blood vessels, you have another little vascular system called the premovascular system that is a tiny, tiny little tube that carries electromagnetic signals all around your body. And that's why when you tap here, you can have relief in your back because it's faster than blood circulation. Electromagnetic signals are immediate. If you like reading about anything in quantum physics or quantum theory, this is the domain that it's in. It's immediate. So that's why you can have an acupuncture needle go into your hand and you feel it in your foot, but it's immediate. Anyway, so in this certification program, I have to do a number of sessions. And so I am currently looking for people who would be interested in doing one, maximum 5 sessions with me at no charge that I can use for my mentorship or internship, whatever they call it. And so if you're interested in doing that, you can you can send me an email. Let me know that this is where you heard about it, and I'll get back in touch. So it's my initials, SG at, and we're going to send this out to you later, but anyway, SG at susangamache.com. And I have a website. So if you forget the email address, you can always go to my website and it will be in the contact me section of my website.
That's very generous of you, Susan. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
very much.
And I'm happy. Thank you for being willing to help me get better at this. So again, that would be an environment where I'm not in the therapeutic relationship. I'm just a student and I'm just learning. And so I'll need you to sign something that assures me that you understand that I'm not acting as a psychologist, but I'm acting as a student.
Well, I appreciate your generosity for that. Is there any, and your generosity for giving your time today to us as we're all moving forward. And, my goal is that we're all, operating as much as we can in our most expanded form, that we walk through this life with as much light and kindness and calm, and with as much a channel so that more money can come in as possible. Remember, I am in finance, and I do know that these things are all connected, and I know how much stress is out there. So anytime we can do anything to help ourselves, we're helping everybody else in our midst. So you haven't just helped the people in this group today, Susan. Our calmness and our tools also impact everybody that we're around, because the calmer we are, the calmer the people are in our presence. So thank you to you. Thank you to all who are participating. And
Tracy, there's one little question I can answer very quickly, and the answer is yes. If you're having trouble falling asleep, absolutely use this to get that back of your brain to say, it's okay, we can go to sleep. But thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, because it is a new place in my, even though I've been using myself and kind of on the side with clients here and there, this is another level of commitment that I'm making to it, and making that commitment publicly. So I'm excited.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody. And you all know where to reach me. And now you know where to reach Susan. And we'll just connect up whoever needs to be connected in what way, and go out and hopefully have a calmer afternoon.
Thank you, Erin. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.